There will never be another George Foreman. Big George grew up in Texas and was a troubled youth. He dropped out of school at 15 years old and joined the Job Corps a year later. Here is where he picked up boxing, and with his incredible power, he quickly became a successful amateur, winning an Olympic gold medal in the 1968 Mexico City Games. He turned pro in 1969 and won 37 straight fights, 34 by knockout. He was a brutal puncher who chased you down. In 1973, he would fight the great Joe Frazier and knocked him out in the second round for the undisputed heavyweight titles. He would then knock out Jose Ramon and Ken Norton. In 1974, he fought the legendary Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle. George was expected to win this fight, but Ali took a smart approach using the rope-a-dope style to tire Foreman out and stopped him. This event would go down as one of the most iconic moments in sports history. Foreman would come back 2 years later to have an amazing fight with Ron Lyle. Then he stopped Joe Frazier in the rematch. But in 1977, Foreman fought a lesser-known Jimmy Young and lost by unanimous decision. This is when Foreman had a complete change of heart. The Foreman we originally knew was mean and relentless, but the Foreman we became to see decided to retire from the sport for 10 years and he became a pastor. After those 10 years, Foreman needed money to fund his youth center, so he decided to make an unprecedented comeback. This of course was met with a lot of doubt, not only because he was older and inactive, but he put on a lot more weight. He became a more personal human being that was respectful and also ventured into business with his famous George Foreman grills. He would rack up several wins a year and have title fights with Tommy Morrison and Evander Holyfield. Losing both, it seemed impossible that we would ever see Foreman hold another belt. But in 1994, at the age of 45 years old, Foreman would knock out Michael Moore to win the unified heavyweight titles. This would make him the oldest champion in heavyweight history. His last fight would be a controversial loss against Shannon Briggs, but I want to share this clip from that fight that shows just how great of a person George was.
The only thing count is tomorrow. Yesterday is dead and gone. If I could do it all over again, I probably would have thrown a few more punches and gone more for a knockout, but this is an excellent young man. He just lost his mother not too long ago, and he's had a hard life, and if that victory can help him,
George would then do commentary with HBO Boxing, which he was well known for and respected. I was very devastated and shocked to hear the passing of George Foreman. He's my favorite boxer of all time. I stated that multiple times on this channel, made so many videos of George Foreman. My most viewed short on this channel is George Foreman. I have this picture of George Foreman there forever, okay? He's my favorite boxer of all time just because he's a great person, great boxer, and made one of the best athlete comebacks of all time. He's the perfect example of an American heavyweight champion, became a gold medalist, then the undisputed heavyweight champion. He was a feared, mean, tough guy, but then after retiring, came back a more nicer guy, a more humble guy, and then pulled off, like I said, one of the best athlete comebacks of all time. Became champion at 24 years old, retired, didn't even touch boxing, didn't even shadow box for 10 years. Comes back, racks up a bunch of wins, doesn't lose that power, probably has more power than he did in his youth. Doesn't give up after his loss to Evander Holyfield, which was an amazing fight. Same thing with the Tommy Morrison fight. Then, of course, shocked the world when he became champion at 45 years old, knocking out Michael Moore. But probably the most favorite clip I've ever seen of George Foreman, which I showed earlier in his video, was his post-fight interview with Shannon Briggs. Even though he lost in a very controversial fight, George Foreman should have won that fight. He didn't complain. He was humble and actually gave credit to Shannon Briggs. So that's why I'm a bit hurt with this passing, because I don't really take celebrity deaths personal or get hurt that much, but with George Foreman I did, because not only was he a great boxer, he was just a great human being. And now if we look at the three lions from the 70s, Ali, Frazier, and now unfortunately George Foreman passed away. I don't know how he passed away. It was a bit sudden. I know he was older, but the thing with George Foreman was he always had a great chin, and he kept his mental, he kept his speech. He looked perfectly fine, seemed perfectly fine despite taking so many blows, right? I mean, he spoke normal. That's what he was known for, a good chin, but still very clear, very smart. So I wanted to make this video dedicated to George Foreman. There will never be another George Foreman, the oldest heavyweight champion of all time. That record still stands. And I really recommend just watching his fights, preferably in his second comeback. We all know his first comeback, when he destroyed Joe Frazier, knocked him down 6 times, when he destroyed Ken Norton, that incredible fight with Ron Lyle. Of course, the most popular fight, one of the most popular fights of all time against Muhammad Ali in the Rumble of the Jungle. We knew about that of George Foreman, but not many people really talk about so much about his second comeback, which I think deserves a lot more credit, and people really don't understand how impressive that is. Please comment down below what your favorite George Foreman fight was, what your favorite George Foreman moment was. Comment all your thoughts, guys. Hey, it's a tough loss in the boxing community. Great businessman, great commentator, just great overall person. I'm out, guys. Peace.